affirmation for self-healing by Swami Kriyananda on joy. True joy is not an emotional state. It is not that which one feels when some desire is satisfied, or when everything at last goes well. It is inward. It is of the soul. It can be developed first by not reacting emotionally to outward things. Don't be tossed on alternating waves of success and failure. Don't join in their excitement, the buyers and sellers in the marketplace of this world. Be calm in yourself, even-minded and cheerful, through the gains and losses of life. Then in calm, deep meditation, feel the joy of the soul. Hold on to that joy through all activities. Don't confine it, but try ever to expand it until your little joy becomes the joy of God. And let's affirm together, I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I know that the joy is not outside me, but within.
I know that joy is not outside me, but within.
I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I know that joy is not outside me, but within.
I know that joy is not outside me, but within.
I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I am even-minded and cheerful at all times.
I know that joy is not outside me, but within.
I know that joy is not outside me, but within.
And whispering, I am even-minded and cheerful at all times. I know that joy is not outside me, but within. And silently, I am even-minded and cheerful at all times. I know that joy is not outside me, but within. In the prayer, in the calmness of meditation, at the heart of my inner peace, help me to feel thy thrilling, joyful presence.
Welcome to Sunday Satsang. This is a reading from Whispers from Eternity, a book of poem and prayers by Paramahansa Yogananda.
Sorry.
That's okay. Make me feel that everything is joy. I am the foam of happiness, spumed out of the sea of thy joy. I am the ocean life, bounding with the billows of joy, endless eddies of my laughter spread through all hearts. When the time comes to depart, I will retire to wakeful sleep on the bosom of thy infinite joy, a ripple ever dancing with billows of all joy. I am a bubble of joy, struggling to burst and unite with the ocean of joy. I feel thy joy in all things. Make me a lighthouse of joy also, guiding storm-tossed vessels of life to safety on the shores of thy joy. Let every vine of my activity bear large grape clusters of thy joy. Let me drink the divine wine pressed from the grapes of all life's little joys. And this is a reading from Cities of Light, A New Vision for the Future. This is a book by Swami Kriyananda, and he wrote it in 1987. And it's a guideline to starting spiritual communities on this earth. It's a beautiful book. I would recommend it. I'm just going to read a few excerpts. Clouds of darkness range the universe, but so also, fortunately, do crowds of light. Forces of darkness and of light vie constantly for victory in human hearts, and not in people on this planet only, but on peopled planets everywhere in space. Those powers respond as they are called. Man has the power to reject the one and to invite the other. Darkness can be banished only thus, by turning on the light. The true warfare of modern times is that which rages between the darkness and the light. The truest weapon in this warfare, for those who would help the light to win, is the offering of one's heart and soul to be a channel of the light. The victory may need guns as well if nations go to war. God's way is not passivity, but love, is the divine force, and also faith and light. The angels, too, have bent down to earth to rescue man. Great waves of light and inspiration are pouring down upon the great sea of human minds, seeking those whom they can uplift in grace. Thus, while darkness spreads, so also does the light. Those who choose neither light nor darkness are drawn down beneath the waters, for it takes strength to fly. But those who choose to rise into the light are given wings. Many there are, moreover, who, having seen the cloud of evil as it spreads across the earth, tremble not, but cry with love to the heavens, I believe in light. And with their cry, a ray of light is sent down to them, and they begin to rise. Great saints are examples of transmitters of such rays of light. So also, and more greatly, are those masters who were born for the upliftment of mankind. One such line of masters included Paramahansa Yogananda and those before him who sent him to the West. He brought with him a great wave of God's light, and no ray merely, thousands, receiving into their lives the divine power for which he served as a channel, have found the darkness of their egos receding from their minds, and the love of God entering in and filling them. Humility was Yogananda's hallmark. More than any man I've ever met, he gave all glory to God, seeking none for himself. What he sought to inspire in everyone was the awareness that God resides in all, that each must seek him, not outwardly in forms, but deeply within, in the silence of inner communion. Ananda's success, as its members well know, is due to God's grace alone, and to the divine light that Yogananda, who empowered this work, has channeled from infinity to this humble band, sincerely bent on loving God more perfectly and on serving him in their turn as he enables them as channels of his light. And I'm just going to close with, come if you can and share with us. Together, let us serve the light. Together, let us ask that it descend in power and mounting glory until the clouds of darkness roll away from the face of this earth, and the sunlight of God's joy once more brings harmony to men. It's amazing when you think about it, the life of Kriyananda and how he took this message of these great masters, all on his own, this one great soul, and decided that he would take the message of building spiritual community out into this world. It had never been done before in quite this way on this planet at this time. There are great waves of, Swami used to tell us, darkness going through the universe. And they bring you down. They're delusive. This wave will come into your consciousness if you allow your consciousness to lower itself, if you don't have that strength to withstand it. Then he said you can go beneath the darkness and just sleep, and that's fine too. But at one point, your soul, which is infinite light, pure consciousness, completely at one with God already, will yearn for the light. And with that yearning and that burning desire in your heart, the light will respond if you call to God. And that wave of light then that is coming in at this time on the planet that's going through the universe will be attracted, and it will come into your soul, and it will lift you up and guide you to your true home in God. Our true home is God. We cannot ever forget that. Then many, many years ago, when we first started Ananda, honestly, there was nothing there, nothing, but there was so much there. There was so much sincerity in the souls of the one or two or three people that came to Ananda and decided to give their lives over to serving this light. What we're doing when we're serving is we're serving the light. So one or two souls, but it was the sincerity of their souls that brought more souls into the little band of brothers, and then more souls, and then more souls. Each soul wanted God. And that's the power of Ananda. Ananda means joy. Ananda means bliss. But just reading about it doesn't do much. Just taking what you can and going home and hoping that you'll be self-realized in this lifetime, maybe in your bedroom tonight, that's not going to really do it. The nature of joy and bliss is to expand. You can't help but want to share these teachings. And by saying these teachings, I mean love. I mean bliss. I mean forgiveness. I mean the qualities of God that will make this world a better place. Living in harmony with your brothers and sisters. You can't help but want to share that, because that is the nature of God, is to expand His love. There's a beautiful story, and I just heard it from Davy recently. And it was from these books, they used to have these chicken soup books, the
Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And there was this one story in there, and I had read it many years ago, but Davy just repeated it on the internet lately. And it so inspired me that I wanted to share it. And it's this story of this monastery in, I suppose, Europe. And in this monastery, there used to be thriving, but very slowly over the years, people started leaving. Pretty soon, there were only a few old monks left. And they weren't inspired anymore, and they were wondering what was happening, and where were all the people, and it used to be so wonderful, but what's the problem? And nobody wanted to come anymore. Nobody would come to their services. And so the main monk went to this hermit in the woods that had been meditating for many, many years, and he was renowned for his wisdom and for his love for God. And so they said, why don't you go ask him what we can do so we can start building up the monastery again? And so he went to this hermit, and he told him all his problems about nobody's coming, we're not inspired, what are we doing wrong? And the hermit didn't say anything to him about what he should do, and maybe you should be praying more and meditating more and, serving more and all the good things. He said nothing, he just listened, and so the monk got up and was ready to leave. And just as he was leaving, the sage said to him, "Oh, I just wanted to tell you, one of those monks in your monastery is the Messiah." And so he went back to his little monastery with these few little brothers there, and he told them what the sage said. And really, the monks, they all thought to themselves, well, I'm certainly not the Messiah. Can't be me. Must be him. He's always so calm. This monk over here is always so gentle, so peaceful. He must be the Messiah. And that monk was thinking, well, not me. Of course, I know my own consciousness. It's certainly not me. But what about that one over there? He's always so joyful. He's always in bliss. He's always helping other people. He's always forgiving and so kind. I bet he's the Messiah. And so over time, each monk started treating the other monks as if they were the Messiah. It was so beautiful. Their whole monastery changed because they started becoming instruments for the light. The Messiah was in their midst, and they wanted to bring more light, and they wanted to honor the Messiah, and they wanted to be good in front of the Messiah. And so their magnetism changed because of the way they treated one another. And very soon, then all of a sudden, the young people started coming, and they would say, "Can we come to your service?" "Oh, yeah, you can come." So it was the old monks and the young monks, and the young people from the village started coming, and soon their community was vibrant with joy, filled with people. They had to move. They got a bigger center. Isn't that an amazing story? Because it is not an outer thing that we're looking for here at Ananda. When Swami Kriyananda and Yogananda started these communities, they weren't looking for the perfect organization. People that used to come to the community would say to us, "Well, how much does it cost?" "Well, Where am I going to live? What am I going to do? How am I going to work? Those people somehow never got it together. But the people that came and they said, what can I do to help? This is a mission of my life too. I want to become part of that light. I want to spread the light. I want to become a part of that great wave that's going through the universe. I want to be part of that. And as soon as you say that you want to be part of that light and you open yourself up to be an instrument for that light, the light will come in. The light will show you the way. And so these people that will come to Ananda, thousands now, thousands. Davy said in the video, it was kind of funny, he said, the old ones haven't left yet, but the new ones are really starting to come. And so, how wonderful. It's the way it is at Ananda. We have had so many setbacks at Ananda. You can come and you can say, oh, look at it, it's so beautiful, the tulips and the flowers and the buildings. And when you go there, you can see it on the internet. But it wasn't always that way. But something was constant. There was a thread of love for God through the whole years of Ananda. Ups and downs, people coming, people going, buildings rising, buildings falling down, communities on fire, starting all over again, financial troubles. We've had it all. It's not like we were living on the astral plane and we had no communication with this physical world. We had it all. The karma was there. But always that joyful spirit, that spirit of love for God that will do anything to bring this light into this world. We will not end just because the chips are down. We had perseverance. But Swami showed us the way. Always centered, always happy, always kind. So beautiful. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. It's not an outer thing. Because without that magnetism of divine love in the hearts, and I'm speaking of Ananda, but any group of devotees, it will fade. It will go away. People won't be magnetized. People won't want to be there. Why? It's no different from being out in the world where there's competition and you have to work for your money and you have to do all the things society tells you have to. What's so different? This is different because this is revolutionary. This thought of spiritual communities is revolutionary. It's the only antidote to the darkness, is to bathe yourself in light and share that light. It is the only antidote to what's happening on the planet right now. It will never be fixed politically. Swami and Master kept talking about this cataclysm that's going to come, a depression that's worse than the 30s and all of that. But we are in a bubble of light. That's fine. Let it all fall down. That's not our world. Our world is to share and to care and to give and to be creative and to love one another in God's love. That was all we cared about. When Swami came back to India, it's quite phenomenal when you think about it. It's quite phenomenal. He started all these communities, Italy, America. Then in his 80s, he comes back to India. His body was not so good. His health was not so vibrant anymore. He was an old man by then. But there he was. And he said to us when we came with him, he asked Haridas and I to come with him. He said, India's work will dwarf what's going on now in the world. It will dwarf the work in America. It will dwarf the work in Italy. India will dwarf our work. And what does that mean? That means India has the most receptive souls for the light. India knows how to open up as instruments. Indians know about God. Indians want a spiritual life. It's in your cells. It's in your DNA. It's already there. So when you practice Kriya Yoga, then Swami said India's work would dwarf what's happened in America. We said, well, why? Well, what are we bringing then? What's the difference? He said, India needs to practice. That's what he said. We're bringing techniques back to India so they can practice. They need to get practicing Kriya Yoga. We need to get Kriya Yogis in India. Then when people practice meditation and people practice Kriya and souls start feeling what it is that Kriya Yoga can give to us, then naturally Indians will share it. And that's just the way it is. And so for us, this is a little center in Bangalore. India has little centers all over. But in the beginning, there were no centers in India. In a very short time, we have many centers in India. We have a community bubbling somewhere in India. And I was talking to somebody up in Gorgon the other day, and I said, how are you doing this weekend? Oh, we're so busy. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're having a fair, we're doing talks, and we're online, and we're just so busy. I thought, isn't that wonderful? We're busy for God. We're busy for God. She didn't say, oh, it's so hard, the hall's too big, no money, we can't do it. She didn't say any of that. She's busy for God. God will take care of the results if we open up and are busy for Him, because He has no instruments like us. Because we are willing, we're joyful, we're forgiving, and we're loving. And what more can you ask? Master said, it isn't so much that you practice Kriya and practice the presence of God. That will get you a little bit. But in this day and age, we have to share that. We have to become instruments of the light. That's when the real growth takes place. That's when it really happens. When you start making sacrifices for God, which are not sacrifices at all, because the joy that comes with that sacrifice is so much more than the little thing that you're giving up. I mean, the big thing is time. I can't do that because I have to be doing this at this time during the week, and I cannot go there. You know, you have all these things in our mind. We can't. We have really good reasons why we can't. And everybody in the world will agree with you with the reasons because they're perfectly reasonable. But God wants it all. God wants you 100%. Why? Because He has 100% to give you. You're already a part of Him, and He wants you to come home. He's pulling you. That light is pulling you. You've opened your heart a crack. There's more light coming in. So don't think about your own salvation. Let it take care of itself. When we came to Ananda, we honestly didn't think, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? No. What can we build together? What can we do for Master? We asked the question, how can I serve? And immediately we got an answer. It was just like that. And we've been busy ever since. We have not stopped. And I think those of you who have worked in the center, you know how busy it can be. You can do this, good. Then you can do this, good. You're doing a good job. Hari said the best thing to do at Ananda is do a terrible job at first, and then nobody will ask you to do anything else. But it's impossible to do a terrible job because there is no success or failure on this in the spiritual life. It's all attitude. It's all, what are you doing with your spiritual life? Where is your soul? How much love are you bringing onto this planet? How much joy are you bringing into this project? That is what the spiritual path is about. Also, Swamiji said something very important. He said, you can't do it on your own in this day and age. That wave of darkness, delusion, that energy that will pull you down is too strong now on the planet. It's really strong because people have gotten lazy spiritually. But he said you need Guru Bhais, you need a community, you need spiritual people around you. You can't just put it off and say, oh, well, I'll do that later. You need to come. You need to be together. You need to meditate in a group meditation at least once a week. You have to create a spiritual magnetism so that you have protection in this world. Because the world, like I said, it's pretty powerful, that darkness. But if you have the protection of your Guru Bhais, who are all loving God, and the Guru, and your spiritual teachers, it's not enough just to go read a book anymore. You have to serve and be with people and magnetize your life. Make it different, make it fun, make it creative. The spiritual life is fun. Swami said the goal of Ananda is to have fun. When you really commit yourself to the spiritual path, when you really make that commitment, not just superficially, well, I'll bring a tortilla, a chapati on Sunday. That's good. That's a good start. I'm not saying keep on bringing the chapatis, but don't stop there. Next time, bring the dal, and after that, bring the dessert, the gulab jamun. You know. Increase the energy that you give to God, and He will increase the love that you feel in your heart. It's a two-way street. And so we help one another by participating in our spiritual family's destination, in the light. When we participate together, we help one another. It isn't just for us. You know, this world right now is such in need of the light. And we have been given a gift, such a gift. We can't just let it go. This incarnation is probably one of the most important we'll have. We have a God-realized master. We have a whole line of gurus. We have one another. We have Swami Kriyananda. He's written 121 books. We have those books. We have Kriya Yoga. We have meditation. We have Satsang. Think of all the blessings that we have. Don't ignore those. Don't just take them for granted. Oh, well, I read The Path. When I was preparing for this talk, I read The Cities of Light. I hadn't read it since 1987. It's a phenomenal book. That's just one book. And it really inspired me to talk about coming together in spiritual community. It isn't just for us. What a responsibility we have as Kriya Yogis to share this light. Truly. And you may think of all the reasons why you can't. And they're good reasons. My family, my kids, my job, all of that. God didn't put you where He put you because He wanted you just to waste away to nothing. He put you where He put you because that's where He wants to work through you. He has not left your sight for 1 second. So He's placed you in these situations so He can come to you. Open up to that. Open up to His grace. Open up to His love. And say, what can I do to serve? And He will tell you in an instant, you will get advice. I guarantee you. Just like today. Somebody said, how can I serve? And they brought a wireless microphone into the ashram. That's an amazing thing. Because who put that thought in this devotee's head? God put that thought. You know, somebody said, I want to serve more. I want to really go deeper. All of a sudden, he's moving to Pune to really go deeper and join the band of brothers down there so they can serve more. He wants to serve more and more. People are joining. People are opening themselves up and letting go of all the resistance, all of the reasons why they can't, and saying, what can I do? Right where I am, Divine Mother. Show me the way. She'll show you the way. I wanted to this is something Swami wrote. He said, we are a part of a great tide of loving, joyful energy that wants to give and give as long as people are happy to receive it. And so he would often tell us, if we don't do it, somebody else will. But why not us? Why not? Why not take up the banner of sharing the light in this world when there's so much need? Doesn't make sense. Haridas and I were older now, but not inside. We are not old inside, let me tell you. We have so much energy to keep on going. We looked at Swami. He just last breath, 86 years old, sick in body, never stopped serving. Well, that's the way we want to be. We want to die with our boots on. But everybody else is younger than us here. That's a really good thing, because when we go, you have to take up the banner. It's not just for us to keep, like this. Swami would just give us something to do and then he would leave. I remember when he went to Italy to start the community there, I cried that night. I cried. I thought, oh my God, Swami's leaving us. He'd been there with us for 20 years and all of a sudden, he's gone to Italy. Never did really come back to the village, except for visits. And I cried and I thought, oh my God, the whole place is going to fall apart. I was just destitute. The very next morning, Swamiji called on the phone. This is when we were up at the seclusion retreat, training the new people that came into the community. He called on the phone. And he said, hello? And I said, hello? Oh my God, it's Swami. I said, well, do you want me to get Haridas? And he said, no, I want to talk to you. And I said, oh, okay. What, Swami? And he said, I just want to thank you for your wonderful spirit. How did he know? How did he know that I was so sad? He knew that I needed some consolation. He said, don't worry, I'll be coming back. I had never told him that I was destitute. I had never told him that I cried. It just happened the day before. But there he was saying, I want to thank you for your wonderful spirit. I was so healed by that, because that's all we really have. When it all comes down to it, we have our spirit. We have who we are as individuals. We have our souls and our connection with God. That's all we have. And we can only share that. We can't do a grand thing. My job was very humble. It still is. But we have our spirits, and that's what we share. And when we share that spirit, God comes in, and he will never let us down. We will always be a part of that light, whether we know it or not. But the more we share that light, the more we really go deep in meditation and start feeling the closeness of God and helping other people to feel the closeness of God. That's the mission of Ananda. That's all we care about. The outward thing, it will take care of itself. But just like those monks, the more love that we give one another, the better we treat one another, the more magnetism we have for God, the more this work will grow. And then at the end of our life, we can say, well done. God will say, well done. You know, what else is there? He'll say, how much did you love? And we'll be able to say, did as good as I could, but I did try. At least I tried. And then he'll take us. Swami used to tell us, when you reach up to God with one hand, he reaches down with two. So any little effort in that direction, that will be our pathway, our strewn with rose petals into the light. Any effort that we give to God. So don't take any of it for granted. Don't worry that you're not like this one or that one. Your spirit is the one that needs to grow. Your spirit is the one that will help other people, and God will show you the way. This is what Ananda is about. Ananda means joy. Just like that chant, joy, joy, joy this morning. The affirmation, the whispers. We are joy. We are that. And the more we share it and see it reflected back to us in our lives, then we'll know that we're on the right path. Then we'll know that our life indeed has had some meaning in this incarnation. So thank you all for coming. God bless you.